Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys this new spreadsheet I made. Doesn't seem super exciting, but I think that it's going to be very helpful for us. So basically, we have a couple different reports that we get out of our rental software. Um, and so this is actually the first report. It's just equipment value. And how it exports it is it tells us, uh, each individual item that we bought, and then the we have input the replacement value for it, and then also, what we think is the used sales price. And since it does that for each individual item, I had to make a separate sheet that it's basically just a pivot table that allows you to get the average of each item's replacement cost. So it like takes all the tent stakes, averages it out, and then gives you, you know, tent stake average price right there. And then the other report that we got was the revenue usage. And, we're still kind of like figuring this out a little bit just because in doing this, we realized that a lot of our revenue is not being reported. So, trying to fix that now. And so a lot of the numbers that I put in here have actually just kind of been random numbers for now, but as we generate more data, it'll be more accurate. And so basically what this report gives us is um, it'll tell you how many, for the given time period, how many total available days were that item was available for. Um, Starting to think now it might be a good idea actually we can add the quantity of it. So, you know, say you can see it's the total available days for number one grip clips was 10,761 total available days. So, just say that this was for a year period. Um, and, so that means we had about 29 of them. It might have not been a year, and that's why it's an uneven number. But that kind of gives you an idea of how the available days work. And then the days out is how many days those items were actually out on jobs. And then it'll give you a usage percentage. Um, and also tell you how many days you billed for it. So, if it went out for a 5-day job, but you only billed for 3 days, tell you that. Also the revenue, and um, subrental days, which is like how many times you subrented it and how many times, you know. So, say we rented, let's see, it's 135. It's basically the same thing as how it calculates the available days. And then it'll tell you also how much revenue you made from the subrentals. And of course, as we get more data in here, it'll tell us how much we spent to get those subrentals. And so you can figure out like subrental profit from that. Um, and so, now that I have all this information, it's like, okay, well, what questions do I ask? And so I created, well, some of these. This value column is actually from the equipment value, or actually, sorry, average equipment value. And so I did that using VLOOKUP, which I found to be very helpful. Um, Basically, I just said, like, um, let's see, I said, hey, look at column B, um, and then I want you to take the name, number one grip clip, and then I want you to look at the average equipment value sheet, which is this one. Um, and I want you to look in the whole thing, which is B2 to C. And then I want you to return the second column. In this one, since I did B2 to C, it starts here, like that. So average replacement cost would be the second column. And then zero, that just means it has to be an exact match. And so from doing all that, now I get the equipment value based on the name of the item. So the average equipment value, this can be super jumbled up. It can be in any order. And then I can bring it over, then I can copy paste that into here. And then it'll give me the equipment value for this item or this item or this one as I go down. And I found actually that some of these items, they're not in our, we don't have data for them. And so that's actually, I don't know, kind of small thing, but that's why I had to do the if error, because it was just giving me an error here, and it was messing with my formulas later. So I did that so that it would just return blank. And then let's see, and then I also did this other one that's just the subrental revenue minus the value. And then I also tried to calculate a return on asset. So let's see how I did it. And so for all these, I used array formulas so that it would just do the entire column. And for this one, I did the revenue divided by the value to get some sort of percentage return. So, all this is like great data, but it's not something that you can like look at and like draw conclusions from. So I made this analysis page. And so this will show you your top 10 most used items. It will tell you your usage percentage. Actually, let me make that even just a little bit more clear. Oh, maybe it's fine. No, it is. Okay, I'll fix that later. But so give you your top 10 most used items. It'll give you some purchase recommendations. And basically with that, I just looked at the total subrental revenue, and then I subtracted the equipment value from it, and just said like, okay, if there's still like, money left over, if you were to buy one of those items, with your subrental revenue, if there's money left over, like maybe it's a good idea to buy it. I think that this can still be made a little bit better, but basically I just gave you the top 10 from there, and then give you the item names as well. And then I have items with zero usage during this period. So just, all the things that you didn't use at all. And, if we chose a period that's like a year long, when we exported our reports from RentalWorks, if you haven't used something in a year, might be a good idea to sell it. And so, there's our list of unused items. And then here I have the top 10 best return on assets. And you can see with these two that like, well, one, the formula that I have works very well. But two, I also don't have very much data in here right now. Because you can see 1K tungsten open face mold Mickey, that's at the bottom of this list in terms of top 10 best return on asset. And then it's the bottom of this list here, but then it's the top of this list here. So, but like you could also try and draw some more conclusions from this, where it's like, well, yeah, okay, we're renting it like sometimes, but there's some items here that it's a much better use of our money, and we're making a much better return on it. And maybe we should invest in that instead. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this is going to get refined over time, but but yeah, just the ability to just like copy paste, our report in here for equipment value and then for revenue usage, and then just like immediately being able to come over here to like draw a bunch of different conclusions and get all of our questions that we usually have answered immediately. Um, I think that that's pretty valuable. So um, yeah, I think that that's pretty much it. Excel is very powerful. That's definitely something that I've learned a lot about in the past couple of days trying to make this thing. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, all right.